You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of ES Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Everyone, to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at ES Club. And as I promise you guys, man, listen, we have the big bad with over 20 million records sold worldwide, people. I'm telling you, man, 4-time Grammy nominated producer. I'm going to say his name, Davion. I don't know if you guys know him as that, but listen, in the big bad world, they know him as D Bottz. D Bottz, welcome to the show, my brother.
Man, thank you for having me, brother. Yeah.
Man, this is what I'm talking about right here, man. This is a beautiful thing. Man, I'm excited to have you in the space today, bro.
Man, I'm excited to be here.
Hey, how you feeling, man? You got to tell me about that shirt. What you got going on with that shirt you rocking right now, big bro?
Man, you know, it's all about branding and content now. So, you know, everywhere I go, I wear my brand, you know what I mean? So, you know, sure we're going to get into what the cookout is. So everywhere I go, I got a cookout shirt on.
There you go. It's the cookout, people. So right now, because, you know, our listeners and listeners, I want to thank all you guys, man, for continuing to help the show grow. All you guys out there in the UK, I appreciate you guys. My boys in North London, yo. Yeah, so listen, and everyone else, you know, Caribbean, everywhere you are listening to the show, I appreciate you guys. Thank all you guys for tuning in today. We're going to dive in. So, D Bottz, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So listen, man, take our listeners back. I would say maybe year 6-year-old D Bottz. What was that like?
6-year-old D Bottz was a little mischievous child who had just started taking up playing the drums.
Okay.
And so my mom didn't have the money to buy me a drum set. So I made drums out of everything in the house. I would get my next door neighbor, Mr. Branch, was like a carpenter, a handyman. So he would have like paint buckets and, you know, just different things. And I would literally take them from his garage and from his trash and bring them to my house and make me a drum set. So yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Fat Albert, the cartoon, but them drums, them drums that they made out of the garbage cans, that was me. That was me.
Man.
Yeah, 6-year-old.
Wow.
I was, man, all things drums, just a lovable, you know, a lovable kid, you know, in the church, playing drums, hanging with my older sister. My little sister would have just been born at 6 years old. So just a fun-loving, you know, musical child.
Now, where was this, D Bottz? Which part in America was this?
It's Houston, Texas, born and raised.
Oh, man, you got to take us there, man. Take us to that neck of the wood in Houston, Texas.
Well, I grew up in a area called Cashmere Gardens. My early childhood was Cashmere Gardens. It'll make you think Boys in the Hood. It was the hood, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's lower class. It's not really middle class. So, you know, my mom was a single parent. Okay. But my mom was a hustler. So my mom, you know, would work 2-3 jobs to make sure we were good. So I grew up in the hood. You know what I mean? Fighting, stealing.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know what I mean? Just riding my bike, you know, 2-3 miles away when I'm supposed to stay around the car. You know, just a typical 6-year-old, just being devious, but always had the music. I always had the music to fall back on.
That's beautiful, man. What was school like?
School was, here's the crazy thing. I was a straight A student. I always have been.
What?
But I would bring straight A's home in grades and straight U's in conduct.
Yeah.
I would have, And I was a challenging child in school. Let me just say it like that, because
wow.
Man, if I were to tell you some of the stuff I did, man, I got suspensions, fighting, but here I am and I wasn't gifted and talented.
So you got to tell us, man, when was the first time you got in a fight where you got detention, whatever that looked like, and you're like, you know what, man, I deserve that?
I was in the 2nd grade, I believe, and I fought a 5th grader.
What?
I fought a 5th grader, and I was whooping him too. I was until he picked up a Folgers coffee can and threw it in my head.
Oh man!
I had to go to the emergency room and get stitches. So, but I got 3 days. I got 3 days suspension for that.
Okay, man. So, but back then, though, you know, despite going with school and getting good grades, you had this feeling for the music.
Yeah, well, I was born into a musical family. My dad was a pretty famous local quartet singer.
Okay.
And he did that. My grandfather was a quartet singer on my dad's side, and on my mom's side, my grandmother played a little bit of piano. And so I was born into the music, you know what I mean? Okay. And I started playing drums when I was 4.
Wow.
I got my first drum set. Well, I didn't get a drum set, but I started playing drums when I was 4. Okay. And so I only played drums while growing up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't play keys or nothing yet. So my passion, you know, everywhere I got to play. And like I said, I would make myself a drum set out of something, out of anything.
So when they told you, hey, we going to church today, you had no problem with going to church.
Mama didn't play. We ain't had no option. You know, Mama we didn't get options growing up. You were going to church. It was no options. So I knew I was going. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was just tradition. That was our tradition.
You ever played the drums in the church?
Yeah. I played in my grandfather's church. My grandfather's church was a church I was born into. Yeah. And once they realized, you know, I could play, the church bought a drum set. And I got to play. It wasn't my set, so, you know, but I got to play at my grandfather's church. My very first gig, I was 6 years old, since you're talking about 6-year-old D Bottz. I was 6 years old. My dad had a quartet group. Yeah. And the drummer had gotten a wreck. He couldn't make the gig.
Oh, man.
So the band was like, what we gonna do? And one of the dudes went to him like, your son is at all the rehearsals and he can play.
Yeah.
And so 6 years old, I'm on the drums with my dad group. 6 years old. Yeah.
Man, that right there, you got put on. You were there.
Yeah, I was in there. That was my first gig, 6 years old.
Oh man, that's amazing, man. Now you got all that music stuff going on. What was high school like, man? When you step into high school, what was that looking like?
Well, I had already kind of made being notorious for being a comedian. Okay. Aside from the music, everybody knew about the music because I was in band. Yeah. I made history because when I joined the middle school I went to, there had never been a 6th grader that made first chair drummer ever. Wow. I did because, I already knew how to play. And so I leaped all the 8th graders, all the 7th graders, and I was first chair. So by the time I got to high school, I was pretty notorious for the music and being a class clown. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was a little comedian. So high school was fun for me, man. I loved it. I played football, very, very successful, and had a great football career. Played at a great school. Shout out to Eisenhower. We were able to play playoffs. We were good. And so high school was fun for me, man. I made lifetime friends. Go ahead.
You got to tell us your position. You got to tell us the position you played, man.
Well, the crazy thing is that Eisenhower, man, if you were athletic, and, they made us athletic. Okay. I played everything from linebacker to defensive tackle to center to offensive guard. I played every position on the defensive line and offensive line. I played and linebacker.
Wow, man. You was like All-American, bro.
Yeah. You played multiple positions at Eisenhower.
Yeah. So, back then, because what time we talking? In the 80s? What we talking in high school? What time?
early to mid 90s. I graduated in 95.
Okay, so in that time, and with everything else that was going on, like outside, like in the community, stuff like that, did that ever have any effect on, what you had going on in high school?
Well, I got into some stuff that I probably shouldn't have in high school. No reason to, but just being a mischievous kid, yes. Because I grew up, in Acres Home. I went from Cashmere to Acres Home, and Acres Home is another. I went from the hood to the more hood.
You
hood friends, and I rode with some hood partners, so we did some hood stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was still, I played at church.
Yeah,
that tradition was still there. My mom was pretty lenient. Like, she would let me go out, and she would say, "I don't care what you do on Saturday night, but you're going to church Sunday morning."
Okay.
I could go out and party with my friends, come in at 4 o'clock, but 7 o'clock, 7:30, we getting in that car going to church.
Oh man. So you be sleeping in church sometime.
Bruh, I done slept in church, I done threw up in church, I done did it all, man. I did it all.
Went through there, man. So what happened like after high school? What was the focus?
After high school, I kind of lost focus because I didn't want to play football anymore. I had got injured and I had surgery, and that kind of took my love and my passion for that. So I kind of, for a couple years, kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. Be honest with you, I ended up working at a warehouse and worked there for a couple years. And it's crazy. I was just sharing this story with my son yesterday. I didn't get my music career started till I got hired at Guitar Center in 1999.
What?
I was still just a drummer. I had begun to take up the piano around 97. So I was, playing a little bit, but I couldn't really play. And I got hired at Guitar Center in 1999. I never forget it because it changed the whole trajectory of my life. This guy, and I tell him I'm always indebted to him every time I see him, a guy named Bradley Johnson. He took a chance and hired me at Guitar Center.
Okay.
And that changed my life. It literally changed my life because I didn't know nothing about production. I didn't know anything about studios. I didn't know anything about live sound. I was just a hood drummer who was good at drumming and had just started playing piano. That's literally my description when I got to Guitar Center. And from Guitar Center, I learned so much in those 3.5 years working there. That catapulted my career.
Wow, that's amazing. When did you see, like, you know what, this is it, this is what my life is possibly gonna look like. I need to focus here and just get going?
That aha moment. Everybody asks me that aha moment. Well, I'll tell you my first track I ever sold. I was at Guitar Center and lunch break. And on lunch break, you're off the clock, you can go do whatever you want to. So I sat down at a keyboard and I was kind of programming. They used to send us to training to learn things. And so I was trying to, work on what I learned.
Right.
And I'm back there programming a little bit, and in comes the rapper Scarface from the Ghetto Boys.
Yeah.
He comes into the store, and he comes back there in the room while I was doing that. He say, "Hey, man, how much you want for that track?" And I just kind of looked at him like, "What?" He's like, "How much you want for that track?" I'm like, "What track?" I'm just programming. I don't know. You got to remember, I don't know anything about production. I don't know none of that. And he's like, "Man, like I'm working on an album. I need that right now." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
He literally told me then, he said, "Man, I can give you $500 cash for that track right now." And I was like, yes. And it blew my mind because I was like, what?
Yeah.
And the story goes on. I didn't have a keyboard. So the keyboard that I programmed it on, I had to get a floppy disk and save what I did. And at that time, Guitar Center would let you take the gear home because if you're an employee, they would let you take it home. So I literally had to take the keyboard from the store and I went to Scarface's house.
Wow.
I go to his house and he's like, "All right, well, I got my computer up. We need to put the beat in the computer." I'm looking at him. He looking at me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Bruh. it was an aha moment because Scarface was one of the most coolest dudes. This is why I love Face to this day. He was like, I don't know it either, brother, but today we're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure it out.
Do you drink? I say, yeah. He say, I got some Hennessy. This was my first time ever drinking Hennessy. And he brought some Hennessy out. It took us 4 hours.
Wow.
to dump 10 tracks, like just 10 things. It took us 4 hours. One time we had thought we did it, and then we erased the whole thing, and we were just looking at each other like, bro, what we gonna do? But that was kind of my aha moment because I was like, he just bought a beat that I was just playing in a keyboard.
Yeah.
Is this how this goes? And that was the launch.
That was it, man.
That was the launch because after that, I signed my first production deal with Rap-A-Lot, who he was associated with. So that was kind of the aha moment, like, you can really do this.
Yeah. Oh, so then you got a chance to go over, do the sit down and kind of get a full understanding, like, bro, you could make this a career, bro.
Right. That's when it kind of went off in my head, like, because he called me a producer. Up to this point, I had never been called a producer. I was just a musician.
Yeah.
So once he called me a producer, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Man.
Let me rock this producer title. So
yeah. Wow. That is amazing, man. So now you had all that going on. So you have no more focus for school. You're done with school now. No college. College is
one semester. No, I went to my mom because my mom is degreed. She's got several degrees. And so, of course, she's going to push her kids to do it. And so I told her, I said, Mama, I don't want to go to school. Like, that's not me. And I was school. I made, like I said, I graduated with I think a 3.8 GPA.
Okay.
On a 4-point scale. So I wasn't, dumb or nothing. I didn't want to do it. I did.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, I can make a career out of this thing. And that's where it started.
All right, man. That's amazing, man. I'm back then because Rap-A-Lot has a lot of, are getting a lot of the hottest artists then as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we had Scarface because they had just came off of the success of My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. It was a couple of years after that, so they was at the top of the game at that time. You're talking 2000, 2001. Yeah. So they're still relevant. They had UTP, who is they were with Juvenile, the ones who did Know Your Clap. They had just signed Zero, a local artist. They had Big Mike. They had Bun B and UGK because they did some stuff with them too. So their roster was lengthy. They had some of. Yeah, so it was a good time because it really indebted me and taught me a lot.
So you made beat for most of them guys that was there.
I have track. Yeah, I got tracks I did for Zero. I got tracks I did for UTP. I got tracks. I did some tracks later on for UGK and Bun B, but that was after they had left Rap-A-Lot. But I got to work. Yeah, I got to work with a lot of them in the early 2000s. Man,
that's beautiful, man. So, now you got that going. You're really liking what that looked like. When did you ever have a moment where some challenges came to you and you're like, okay, maybe I need to look at a few things and see what I need to adjust?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance through mentorship, empowering programs and storytelling workshops. We help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
But we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahazink.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
I'd probably say because I never had my own studio starting out with my career.
Right.
First studio I worked at, it was an ex-football player named Harvey Williams. Shout out to Harvey Williams. He was a millionaire, and he literally built me a studio at his house.
Okay.
But it was at his house.
Right,
you know?
right.
It wasn't my studio.
Right.
When he stopped doing music, I lost my studio. So then I ended up partnering with this guy who had a local record shop called Selective Sounds. Shout out to Gene. He had one of the dopest mom and pop shops in Houston ever. He let me rent the back. He had a room and he had a studio in the back. So I was there for a couple years. But then he closed down.
Oh man.
And I'm like, dang. So then I partnered with my childhood friend, Corey Mo and Mike Mo. And we got a good thing going over at Mad Studios. That shuts down.
Oh man.
I'm literally sitting there, and 9 years ago, like, well, dang, I ain't got my own studio yet. Maybe I just, maybe I need to do something different because I'm still a musician. I can make money playing.
Right.
And I had a conversation with Maya. Maya changed my whole perception in 2014. She's like, because Maya, anytime Maya would come to Houston, she would always record with me.
Right.
And wanted to come to Houston after the studio closed down, and she was like, "Hey, I'm coming to Houston in 3 weeks. I need to get on your books. You know what you looking like?" I said, "I ain't got no studio to record you."
Yeah.
Like, well, where's your studio? I said, I don't. What you mean? I said, every time you came down, we worked over here. She's like, "That's not what I asked you." She said, "Where's your studio?"
Yeah.
I said, "Got one." She said, "Did you go look for one?" I said, "No." She's like, "Well, how do you know what you don't have if you don't go look?"
Yeah.
I ended up starting to go around the north side of Houston looking at different warehouses, and she's like, "I'm going to call you back a week later, and you better tell me you've been looking for something, Bottz." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I went and looked, found a couple spots. So she literally called me back, and she's like, "So what you got for me?" I said, "Yeah, I found a couple of spots." She said, "You like them?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Okay, what you need to get started?" I said, "What you mean?" She's like, "You didn't price like equipment, this and that." I was like, "No." She's like, "Come on, Bottz, I'm trying to work with you. What you do?" Now, this is Maya, multi-Grammy, multi-award-winning artist. And so I say, "Well, dang, you kind of ride me, Maya. We cool. Why you on my ass like that?" And she's like, "You're not seeing what I'm trying to tell you." So she's like, "Go price stuff." So I went to Home Depot. I remember I went to Home Depot with my construction guy. And then I went to Best Buy, like, for the wiring and all that. And then I came back to her with a figure, and she just told me, she's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to send you whoop-de-boop-boop. How long is it going to take you to get up and running?" And, like, I'm sitting there, like, amazed. Like, I'm blown away, like, literally blown away. I was like, what? Like, what? And my studio is here because Maya and her manager, Dollar Bill, invested in me. The studio I'm in, and it'll be 9 years in August.
That's amazing.
That was at a time where I almost not gave up on music, but like you say, kind of question, like, is this literally what I'm supposed to be doing? Because I could tour as a touring musician and made hella money.
Yeah.
Because I can play. I'm a tic-tac player. I can really play. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
20 years.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I can hang. I ain't got no studio. I can go on the road. You know what I'm saying? And then that whole conversation, it was a conversation that lasted about a month with me and her, changed my whole life. And so shout out to Maya and Dollar Bill. They give them their flowers because they are the reason Bottz World Studios exists.
That's beautiful, man. Hey, Maya, shout outs, man. Big ups. That's beautiful. And Dollar Bills, man, that is amazing, man. So, now you have your own space. you see what it's going to be looking like now. So what was the next big move?
The next big move would probably be the cookout, because I had clientele.
Yeah.
I've not had studio sessions and been producing. So since I've been here, business has always been steady.
Right.
And pandemic hits in 2020.
Yeah.
And I literally closed my studio down for 3 months. Like, I didn't step foot in this place for 3 months because, you know, everybody was scared. I don't want to touch a doorknob and get COVID. They had us so paranoid, you know. I'm like, so I shut my studio down. Yeah. And I had a conversation with one of my best friends, JoJo, and he was like, well, like you said, what's the next big move? What's your next move? What you gonna do next? And I had this concept. I said, man, well, I got to retract. Before the pandemic hit, I did a writing camp in Atlanta, Georgia. And this was literally like a week before the pandemic shut the world down. And I was some big time artists, some big time writers, and we had some newcomers. Yeah. And it was supposed to be an encouragement camp and helping and all this. But man, they talked to them artists so bad, and what you mean? You know, they was fussing at them. I'm just like sitting there. I really got mad, but I'm like, I can't do nothing because I'm paid to be here. I ain't finna mess my bag up. Right. But you don't come to the studio and get fussed at like this. That don't happen. So fast forward to the middle of the pandemic, I'm talking with JoJo. He's like, what's your next big move, Bottz? And I say, well, I need to create an event or a space where artists that are new and, you know, rising artists can come and feel safe and feel productive and learn and this and that. And he told me then, he was like, man, that's a good idea. So the pandemic, you know, we're in the middle of 2020. 2021, me and JoJo always talk at the beginning of the year because our birthdays are apart. And so we'll say, what's your goals? What's your goals this year? And I told him my goals, but I didn't mention the event. Yeah. And so JoJo said, man, what about that event you told me about you want to do? And I was like, man, it's the pandemic. People ain't gonna come to no event. People scared. And like, he checked me. He literally checked me. He say, man, I ain't talking to Bottz. And I was like, what you mean? He's like, the Bottz I know don't never say he can't do nothing. Yeah. Like, you encourage me to do stuff when I say I can't. He say, you don't even say the word can't. And you sitting up here telling me, you know, and he was cussing me out because JoJo's the cusser. Yeah. And so he was, you know, man, how you gonna do that? And then he convicted me. And so at the time I was working with a couple of artists and I had the idea. I was like, I had already been to Atlanta to the studio I had been working at. And I had a conversation with Jay Kane. Shout out to Jay Kane. And I told him about the event. Yeah. He said, let's do it. He's like, I support, bro. Whatever you need me to do, I got you. And so I put together, it wasn't even called the cookout. I just got a couple of artists, a couple of homeboys, a couple of homegirls. I was like, hey, I got this idea. I don't know what it's going to do. Yeah. But I got a crazy idea to go to, it was Atlanta. The first one was Atlanta. I was like, we're going to go to Atlanta. I'm going to pay for some studio time. We're going to play some beats. We're going to try to cook up some records. And that's what we're going to do. And several artists came, a couple of production partners came, and it was dope. It was a dope event. We cut a couple of dope records. The vibe was good. And after we did it, I asked somebody, I was like, hey, should we do that again? They were like, man, that was fun. Yeah. And the cookout was born. Wow. The cookout was born in 2021. The first cookout was in Atlanta, Georgia at Icon Studios in February 2021. And the rest is history. Every other month for the next 2 years, we was in a city doing the cookout. Wow. That's amazing. Month, we went from Atlanta to LA to New York to Miami to the DMV to Dallas, back to Atlanta, back to LA. We did Charlotte last year. We did the DMV again. We did Miami. We were doing it, man. That's amazing, man. And that is a big move, and that's why you see the shirt. Full circle. We came full circle, people. That is beautiful right there. So, you know, we want to have the listeners, you know, kind of get a little bit of a lay on that growing up aspect. I know it was mostly moms, but what was going on with dad? Dad, at the beginning of my life, Dad was pretty cool, was pretty consistent as a father. He would come get me. Like I said, I would go to his rehearsals. He used to brag on me because I was the little kid who could play the drums real good.
Right.
But my mom ended up moving. I told you we moved from one hood to another hood.
Yeah.
In hood, I don't know what happened, but Dad became non-existent.
Okay.
And so, man, I might, in a 10-year span, I might have saw my dad 10 times, maybe. And that was those wasn't even him planning to see me.
Yeah.
We happened to be at the same church event, or I'm playing for a group where his group's singing and we see each other. So Dad was kind of out of pocket. You know what I mean? And, I had to deal with me and my sister, because we had the same dad. We had to deal with a non-existent parent. He was deadbeat. I don't shy away from telling people that because it's the truth and I live in that truth. But later on in life, we reconnected.
Okay.
I actually ended up playing for his band for a couple of months. Like, I would go with him a couple of times. So we reconnected. He apologized. I let it go, and we reconnected. But I still had that gap and that void where Dad wasn't there. So my mom was a super mom. She wasn't perfect, but my mom was a hustler.
Yeah.
My mom was a provider. My mom would work 2 and 3 jobs, like I said, to make sure we wasn't rich, but to make sure we lived in a nice neighborhood. We went from the hood to a better hood. And so mom filled the void. But my mom made sure I was around, good father figures.
Right.
Some of my friends, like my next door neighbor, Danielle, her dad was the one who taught me how to do a tie.
Right.
My first fishing trip, I went with him. You know what I mean? So I had father figures. I didn't lack in that area, but my father was kind of non-existent between like 10 and 20. He was kind of non-existent. Didn't come to no football games. Didn't come to concerts.
Yeah.
So that it was a hard time. Every kid wants their father, and I was dope as a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm getting accolades from everybody, but him. You know what I'm saying? This I'm playing drums. I don't went to keyboard now.
Right.
Football. We in the playoffs. We travel playing big teams and stuff like that, and Dad wasn't there.
Man.
Yeah.
Now, parenthood. When did parenthood got introduced to you?
The age of 21.
21. Come on, bro. I had my first kid, Dana Brene Bottz. Man, that was a crazy time because I was still involved in some stuff I shouldn't have been involved in. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
And I tell Dana all the time, like, she was my lifesaver, because when I was in that delivery room and she was born and I held her the first time and she kind of looked at me, I was like, damn, I got a kid. I can't keep doing what I'm doing because I'm gonna either end up dead or in jail.
Yeah.
I always said I never wanted my kids to experience with their father what I experienced.
Right.
So literally the next day, all the people I was in contact with that I was doing, the stuff I should have been doing, I cut it. And I told them, like, hey man, I got a kid now. I gotta go legit. That's when I told you I started working at the warehouse. Right. Job. And I went legit, and I miss stuff? Yes, I did. But I couldn't. My daughter changed my life, because I believe had I not had her at that time, I probably wouldn't be doing this interview. Well, ain't no probably. Yeah. So introduced at 21, and she will be 20. She'll be 25. Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing, man. What does that look like between work, family, and you time? What does that look like?
Well, my kids are first and foremost for me.
Yeah.
Because they're who I do everything for, because it's cool to be Bottz the producer and Bottz the engineer and Super Bottz and Cookout Bottz, but my biggest title I'm proud of is Dad.
Yeah, man. I like that.
It means nothing to me to be wonderful to thousands of people, and my kids can't look up to me and respect me and have a relationship with me. And so I I pride my kids are anytime you read my bio, the first thing it says is father.
Yeah.
Because before I do anything else, I'm a father.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
I could drop dead today, and these are the ones who have my last name. This is my legacy.
That is your legacy. You got that right, man.
What I do it all for, man. I mean, go broke, sacrifice, I make sure, my kids are my world, man. I wouldn't be who I am without them. They inspire me what I do. That's
beautiful. That's beautiful, man. They're paying attention to what dad's doing in the music world.
Well, my daughter sings. So
okay.
From the cookout events, we have put out 2 albums.
What?
We put out 2 albums. We put one out last January, which is close to almost 5,000 streams. We'll be hitting that pretty much in the next month or so. And my daughter's album.
Wow.
She's on the album. She's a very talented singer. My kids, man, they're amazing. I was spent some time with my son yesterday. He's a producer. He plays drums, and he plays drums way better than I do. Because he leaps and bounds past me, but he plays keys. And then, my other son is a football player. My other daughter, she's talented with computers and does hair. And then I got my babies, they're 4 and 6, so we don't know what they're gonna do yet. But they watch Dad. My kids, they know they dang. They're not gonna ever experience what I experience. And I've been every event I can make it to, I'm there. Every time I can support them, I'm there. And that's what dads are for.
That's beautiful, man. So you have 4 of them.
I have 6 kids.
6 kids.
4 girls, 4 boys and 2 girls.
And 2 girls. That's amazing, man. That's what I need. I need 2 girls. I got 4 boys. Never got a girl.
My girls were first. I think God punished me. I was just, why would you give me girls first? God. Yeah. Every man wants them boys.
Yeah. You ever find yourself in a situation where you like, oh, I got to go talk to this boy because he's talking to my daughter?
My daughters brief their boyfriends.
Okay.
And brief them. The boyfriends don't want to meet me.
Okay.
They don't. I've met them all, but they like I don't know if she's watching, but my baby girl, I met her boyfriend about a month ago, man. The dude was shaking. He was so nervous, man. He was shaking. Like, I went to shake his hand. I said, man, you got to shake my hand like you got a pair, bro. Don't y'all, wimp wrist. You know what I'm saying? So, they warn the boyfriends like, yeah, my daddy crazy. Just
Oh cool. Man, yeah, crazy. Wow. So beside Maya, because we know you love Maya and all that stuff. Which artists would you say, man, have really put some work out that you like? Yeah, I like what they've done, and if possible, I'll do some work with them.
Man, I've been a big Drake fan forever.
Yeah.
I like Drake because you never know what kind of record he's gonna come out with. He's not in a lane. I love ability. He'll do a pop record. He'll do an R&B record. He'll do a hip hop record. He'll do a rap record. He'll do a record. The brother is he's just everywhere with his music.
He is everywhere.
Yeah,
he is everywhere. You got something there, man. Because there's 2 places that I never thought I would have had Dre. With the Jamaican musicians, with those artists. And then, me growing up in England, that's my type of music over there. And, this one kid that I listened to a couple days back, he got a record with Drake that did the Doja Cat joint there. I can't even think of his name right now, the rap kid there. But it was quite impressive with what he spit on that.
He's my ultimate collab, and it's gonna happen. Drake is I love like I said, you never know where he's gonna go. Who would have thought that a whole dance album?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That is so true, bro. Like nobody thought that right there, bro. Man, and then now in the female world, beside Maya, in the female world, because you know there's a lot of there's
talk to me nicely, why don't you?
Who is that? So beside Maya, what female would you say, you know, kind of bring some fire for you?
Woo. Man. I've always been a big Jill Scott fan. Always been a big Jill Scott fan. She's a different, you know, she's in that neo world, but her music, like, and it's more so her production, because Jill can sing, you know what I'm saying? But some of the production she's had, I'm a earth tones kind of person, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the artists all sound so similar that it's hard to pick recent artists, so I have to kind of go back to somebody I know. And I don't listen to a lot of music. You know what I mean? I listen to enough music to keep the temperature of my production high.
Yeah.
I just came up with that one on the spot. I listen to music to keep the temperature of my production. I would keep that.
I like that. That's steaming.
Yeah. So I don't really have like a favorite female artist. And the crazy thing is, nowadays I work more with more female artists than I do male, which is the opposite of my career. Because at the beginning of my career, all I did was work with male artists, and now it kind of migrated to, you know, more women. So you know, I have a bunch of favorite artists. You know, of course, the artists I work with are all my favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You go to the Cookout album, you're gonna hear Miss Delilah, you're gonna hear Bryn, you're gonna hear Allie, these are some of my favorites, you know, because I'm watching them grow.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it has helped people grow. And man, I got tagged in something today from an artist who comes to the Cookout, and she did an interview and the people talking about the Cookout. And she's like, I almost cried. I thought about everything you've invested in me and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, wow. So
yeah,
a lot of female artists. I mean, I like versatility. That's what an artist want to impress me. Be versatile. Don't be right here. I need you to be here. I need you to be able to be versatile. So
yeah,
I like artists who, and they're not scared to go outside their lane. You know,
right.
So that's what impresses me. I'm a Beyonce listener. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Not a fan. But you know, some of her records I like. But I'm not gonna just go to my playlist if like I'm cleaning up and put on Beyonce. But I do appreciate, not only because she's from Houston, but I do appreciate her music. I do appreciate her. She'll do, you never know what she's gonna come out with.
Right.
And I think that's the key in staying relevant in this game, is always recreating yourself.
Right.
And she does it.
I like that, man. You know, with what's going on right now in the music industry, man, you think hip hop is really getting the recognition that it's supposed to be getting, or we still need to play some more catch up?
Yeah, it's kind of taking a back seat, even though this year we're supposed to be celebrating, well, we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop.
Yeah.
I think, you know, with so many other cultures, you have these young kids don't really care about hip hop.
Right.
And the young kids are who's running the music game. They just, let's be honest, you know, 10 years ago, when we used to have market meetings, they say you used to market between 18 and 32. That's your who you marketing for. Right. Now it's between 8 and 18.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's who listening to your music. That's who doing your TikToks. That's who doing. So you have a younger generation who don't care about hip hop.
Right.
You know, they ratchet and they want to be, you know, they want to dance and they want to, you know, be in love at the same time, but then they want to hate men. And then, you know, so you got a whole different bag, and, you know, people don't respect it enough to I would think, you know, some of the newer artists would go back and get some of these hip hop artists. Go back and if you're gonna sample some, you know, LL Cool J. LL ain't been on a record in years. Why not? He has some dope records.
Yeah.
Go get some BDP. You know, I grew up on this. So that's one of the things, you know, I have a wide musical base. And I'm like, how are we celebrating hip hop 50 years and you don't constantly see something from hip hop, some of these newer artists? I can appreciate what Kendrick does. I can appreciate what J. Cole does.
Right.
But where's the, you know, hip hop is just kind of here now. It's always been at the top, and it's kind of taking a back seat, kind of like you said. And I'm like, man, you know, I love a good Wu-Tang joint. You know, I love a good, you know what I'm saying? So I hope that this next wave, because the waves happening, you know, every 3, 6, 9 months in music. I hope this next wave we get some good hip hop, you know, because we're almost halfway through the year of celebrating it. And I loved what they did at the Grammys. That Grammy mashup was nuts. Of course, you had some artists in their feelings because they could. I'm like, bro, it's been 50 years. There's no way they can honor a million artists in 10 minutes. They just
right.
Oh, and the funny thing was LL gave the disclaimer before they performed. Like, nah, we know we can't honor everybody, but they tried, you know, pick and choose. There's so many hit records, so many dope artists, like, but it should be a big movement this year in hip hop because you're celebrating a monumental thing, 50 years.
50 years, man.
So, you know, I can't really, that's not nothing I can really push because I ain't really a hip hop producer.
Right.
But I would think that the powers that be and those that are influential and some of the OGs, you know, and some of the gatekeepers would push that to the forefront this year. But it's kind of like they're just like, oh, well, you know, whatever.
You know, I got to tell you, man, there's one old school hip hop individual that kind of still impressed me, man, because he still got it. And there's Busta Rhymes, man. I never thought he would still be able to hold. That's crazy, bro.
Busta gonna be 70 years old. He gonna be. I've been a Busta fan since, man. Woo-ha! I've been a Busta fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a music connoisseur. Like my musical brain just goes back because the mid-90s to the early 2000s was some of the best hip-hop records ever. You know?
That's true. That is true.
One of my favorite records is that Who Do You Love? That joint. The groove on that is just so. And then, you know, you got one of my other artists I used to like was Heavy D.
Yeah.
I love Heavy D.
Yeah, Heavy D was nice.
Somebody to love me for me. Man,
yeah.
Damn, man. Where are these records? Why are we not redoing these records?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Maybe I need to do them. Maybe I need to be the one to do them and bring them back, guys.
Yeah.
Dang, them records used to jam.
Yeah, so, because someone was telling me, the Migos, they started this style of rap, and then a lot of the other rappers that came after, and I don't even know if that statement is accurate, but they're saying a lot of the other rappers, they kind of followed that.
I wouldn't say they were the starters because, you know, even though people don't like to give him credit, Soulja Boy started a new wave of rap.
Okay.
He did. We give him his props because nobody was kind of doing that Superman and all that auto. And then, you know, he kind of brought some of the auto-tune rap in like Wayne did and T-Pain. But, you know, I think they do have a lane that they kind of enhanced. I won't say they started it.
Right.
But they came out and enhanced it. You know, I'm a fan of the Migos. You know, I like some of the records they did. You know, I don't think they can really have the title of we started this.
Right.
We took what was there and enhanced it, and we made it more popular, and so other people did it.
That's like what that old thing that was going on the other day with the old John Cena situation that they were saying, Yayo. He just enhanced what Yayo had did. I mean, did a lot of people even really was paying attention to that?
No. We got a lot of clickbait. We're in a day of clickbait. People just want to click something. They just click something. Yeah. And they want to voice their opinions and give and that's just where we at right now. With no validity. No validity or no real, you know, substance to what they want to clickbait, but
that's it. What is relationship like with mom right now?
Man, Mother's Day, I just spent relationship with my mom. Mom is always my biggest supporter. Always has been. I could put out a song called Boo Boo Doo Doo Foo Foo Boo Boo, and mom gonna promote it like it's the it's a Grammy winning, mom and for Mother's Day, we usually go out to eat, but it was raining real bad this past Mother's Day. So I just went and got the food and I went and chilled with mom for 2 hours and talked with her. My mom is always full of wisdom. Most mothers are, but I'm the only boy. So me and my mom have a different connections than my sisters and my mom.
Right.
And I was just able to talk to her, and man, she even helped me, with some stuff I've been dealing with, and I'm able to be open with my mom. I don't have to worry about judgment or, whatever I say, leave the room. You know what I mean? Mom, I love my mom because, like I said, she's always been supportive. We had challenges growing up. My mom whooped me, man. I got whooped.
You got whooping.
I got whooped. But it was because, one, I didn't have a father, you know what I mean? Right. And so my mom told me, she's like, I had to be tough on you because you didn't have a man around.
Yeah.
And it did, it made me a better man, I love mom, man. Me and mom, if you ever look on my posts on Facebook, mom is one of the first persons to like them. She one of the first, I think she got my notifications on because she always in everything. I could be talking about food, she comment. I talk about gym, she commenting. So mom is the GOAT, man. That's beautiful. She's the GOAT.
That's beautiful, man. So now for listeners, and of course all our listeners out there in the UK and and all the other areas that's getting bigger, where can individuals find you?
Man, I'm everywhere, man. I am everywhere now. My biggest thing, I do use Instagram a lot for business promo, connect with different people. So I'm on Instagram, D Bottz, you beaten, DBOTTZ, YOUBEATIN. That is my production stamp. Anytime you hear that, it's gonna be a hit. I'm on there. I'm on Facebook. I don't do as much stuff on Facebook because I think I've been in Facebook jail so much over the years. That they just, so I'm limited on Facebook, very limited. I do tweet. I am on Twitter, D Bottz, you beaten, same thing. Most of my tweets are just when I'm at the gym and I'm cooling down or just a thought I may have. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. Like I can't get into it.
I hear you.
It's too much, man. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't just sit up, set my light up, do a video, and it's too much, man. I can't keep up. And sometimes I'm really busy. Like I may have, like when I got sessions today and, I got clients coming in from Austin and I got, I don't have time to just sit and do TikTok. Some people do. I'm knocking them, but it's good to get an Instagram story. They say you need to post like a post every day and 2 or 3 stories a day. I try to do it, but I fail. I got a lot going on, but I don't want to sit and post everything I do. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true. I'm the same, man. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah. I can't. I try and I'm getting better, but sometimes I don't even want to post nothing. So there'll be days you don't see no activity. So they're like, listen, man, you have D Bottz on the show. You got to pull out the cigars. I'm like, bro, we're not even going to be in the same space. They're like, man, still bring the cigars. Do you ever even smoke cigars, bro? I have. It's not something I just look forward to.
Yeah.
But, I will, if you bring out the cigar, you know what I'm saying? I will, bring out. I'm always keep a bottle of my fave right
there. There you go.
I'm waiting on this.
Is that an apple?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's an apple. That's the good one.
Huh?
That's the good one right there.
Yeah, everybody knows this is my drink. I need to get a sponsorship with Crown Apple as much as I talk about it. So
come on, Crown Apple.
Now, y'all see me on here? Give me that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not a cigar smoker, but you can smoke the cigar. I'm gonna drink the liquor.
There you go. I don't smoke them either. They just like, hey, man, bring them out. I guess they look cool. So we'll just have them sit on the side looking cool.
Oh, I tell you what, bring them when you come to Houston in July.
Definitely.
I got a couple of, Matter of fact, I was at a cigar lounge 2 nights ago. I know one we can go to.
Okay, all right. This is good, man. Listen, and that's going down. There's something cooking up that they won't even know yet until it's closer to what they look like. Man. So listen, everyone, you guys just got a whole story created by your very own D Bottz, the hit maker, man. So right now, for all the guests, man, give them one last word of encouragement, what that look like for someone that would definitely want to get into a creative space.
One word. Ooh, that's hard.
Give them a sentence.
I'm going to take an excerpt from my first book I just published this year. It's a quote I use, and it's crazy. I've had to use this quote for myself here lately. Change your mindset, change your life. Wow. If you change your mindset on a lot of things in your life, you could change the very life that you live. It's not, we used to say the man is holding us down and I can't do this. And no, you need to change your mindset. Yeah. If you change your mindset on a lot of things in your life, you will literally change your life. So that's losing the music business. That can go universal. So change your mindset. The Stress-Free Life out now by Davion Bottz. You can get it. Hit me up. It's in my bio.
There you go. I love that right there. Yeah, man. I love that. That change your mindset, people. You hear it from the hit maker himself. Hey, D Bottz, man, I appreciate you being on the show.
I'm grateful, brother. I'm thankful. Anytime, people give me an outlet and a chance to talk, I am always grateful. And when the day you hit me and say, hey, I want to have you on the show, I didn't hesitate. I was like, let's do it. Give me a date.
Let's do it. My brother, man. So listen, love you, man. We'll talk more soon.
Yes, sir. You know it.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. Until next week when we have another show, the man himself, D Bottz.
He's all right.
That was beautiful.
Yes, sir.
That was beautiful, man. Yeah, man. So I'm going to have this. There we go. We get that stop. We good over there, engineer? We are good over there. Yes, that was beautiful. Hey, D, so I'm going to link up with you. I'm going to link up with you in maybe later today or so.
Okay, just hit me up.
All right, I will. Appreciate you, big bro. Yeah, man.
All right, peace.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hissinggorge and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.